Hi, everybody. Welcome to our next, informal podcast with NetNomads. And tonight, our gorgeous Norma is going to be taking us through um, the Dr. Joe's experience of our Think Box and our Play Box. So, Norma, over to you.
Hi, everyone.
Enjoy.
I am so excited to be with you tonight, and I'm so glad that you're here to share this with us as well. And I was chatting to Victoria a few weeks ago and said, I'm really diving into something I really love from Joe Dispenza's work called Think Box and Play Box. You know, it's a concept that we learn at the retreats that Joe Dispenza does. And what I wanted to do was really get into the depths of that this evening, because it is a relatively simple thing. But as with these simple things, I'm finding the deeper I get into it, the more layers I start exploring of it, the more interesting it becomes. So the simple idea is that the think box is where we prepare before we get into meditation. We get clear on why we're doing something. We get clear on what we want, how we'll step into it. It's the place for intention setting, for getting clarity and looking to prepare that perspective of mental rehearsal, which is so important in Joe Dispenza's work. Once we've done that, once we're very clear about what we're intending, we know exactly how we're going to do it, then we can move into the play box, having put all of that groundwork in, and we can just let go. No more overthinking, definitely no analyzing, no second guessing, just presence, trust, and allowing what we've already prepared to unfold. So it's a gorgeous, practical way of showing how thought and action come together, how this can then impact on our experience of meditation and just make it more cohesive and make it just a more delicious experience. So what I thought I'd do tonight is share Dr. Joe's explanation first, and then talk a little bit about how I've brought this into my own daily practice, and that's changing all the time. And so it should be, because of course everything's changing all the time as well. But a huge piece for me is how to carry this into my day, starting by reflecting first thing in the morning and closing my day by reflecting again at night. And that rhythm of setting intentions in the morning, taking that into my meditation, trying to take the juicy, gorgeous feelings that I create in the morning in my meditation as far into my day as I can. And then in the evening, really reflecting on what did I do well, what hasn't worked so well. And I'm going to talk a little bit as well about how sometimes I already start setting my intentions for the morning, because then I feel that they are in my subconscious mind and rumbling around whilst I'm asleep, which I think is a wonderful thing to have as well. And Wayne Dyer talks a huge amount about priming your brain before you go to sleep, because that's where all this wonderful creative stuff actually happens. And it feels fab, and it just helps me to stay connected to who I want to be and how I'm sort of working on the story, letting go of the past and creating the present best self that you want to be. So then, once we've been through that, I wanted to open the floor up for you to hear what you're doing, what your experiences are with ThinkBox, Playbox. So yeah, let's just start diving in together, and we'll go through this sort of simple practical guide, hopefully. And some of you may be already familiar with this. I think it's always useful to go through it again. And some of you may not be, in which case, you know, we look forward to having your questions when we get a bit further through the session. So the think box, we are preparing with intention, getting clear on why, what, and how, and then mentally rehearsing the steps before we actually go into the meditation. The play box is about executing with presence, letting go of thinking, and just allowing the rehearsal to unfold. So at the very beginning, before we start meditating, it's actually all about pausing and taking a moment to just settle in. This is kind of your line in the sand before you get right into the meditation, before you start, you know, doing your practice. So the second stage is then all about the why, naming your purpose. You know, why are you doing this? What outcome matters the most for you right now? And just setting that intention. Then we step into deciding what the single outcome is that you're aiming for and keeping that super specific. The more detail that you put to that and the more detail your mental rehearsal is, the more powerful it will be. And, you know, making some key steps that you're going to follow. And obviously, you don't want to give yourself masses to remember as you go into the meditation. So keeping them short, but that they really, really make sense for you. And then that element of mental rehearsal is about seeing it as if it's already happening. You know, what does it look like? What does it feel like? You know, you could bring in all of your senses into this mental rehearsal, which will make it way more powerful as well. You know, when it's going well, what sounds might you hear? What sensations might you be feeling? The breeze blowing in your face. You might feel hot or cold. You might have tastes. You might have smells going on. All of this will make it much, much more powerful. So you're actually then starting to prime your body. You know, you can do a few practice rounds, you know, posture, breathing, you know, just having a few goes at this before you actually start your meditation. And then we step across into action. So you're going from your think box into your play box, where you're not acting, you're not analyzing, you've done all of your thinking already. So then it's really about just being fully present and letting your body take over, your subconscious mind taking over, and rehearsing what you've been practicing. Just allowing the timing and the rhythm of the meditation to carry you. So this is where you start to merge your intention and your action so that thought and behavior are becoming one. You're in it, you're not watching it. And you know what Dr. Joe talks about hugely, especially in some of the lives that he's done, is that you are really feeling it as if it's happening right now. You know, you're staying out of self-talk, you're staying well out of analysis, stopping, stepping back, and then coming back in, and really making sure that it's just a gorgeous, juicy experience. Having done all of that great prep work beforehand, you can then just really, really, really allow yourself to get into it very, very deeply. So let's just take all of that step by step. Have you guys got any questions at the minute? Victoria, you're chuckling. Tell me what you're chuckling about.
I love your passion. It's just amazing.
Oh.
The reason why I'm chuckling so much is that I haven't been doing a lot of the think box beforehand. So, you know, because I kind of do the think box during the day, and I know we're going to open the floor up to this. And I was also thinking about, you know, Grahamm isn't overly familiar with Dr. Joe's work. So it'd be really nice to see how your practices, the similarities between your practice, for example, and what we're experiencing as well. So, there'll be plenty of opportunity for us to chat about this. But yes, I'm just really feeling my experiences of just sitting on that horse that is wanting to go off that way, and I'm just going, stay, just trying to control this. Yes, this overactive analytical mind. That's why I'm chuckling. But we'll get to more of this.
One of the things that Dr. Joe really stresses is that it's so important that you take this practice and you make it your own, because there's definitely not one size fits all. You've got a framework, you've got a really strong model that we know works, but it's actually getting into the detail of this and really sensing and feeling and working out what's actually going to work the best for you. And then the second thing, of course, is doing it consistently, especially on the days where you think, I haven't got time for this, or, there's so much going on that the mind chatter is taking over. It's really about consistency, and it's about making it your own practice and giving it that flair and flavor that's most meaningful to you. So before you begin, what you're asking is, why am I doing this session? Is it to heal? Is it to create energy? Is it for coherence? Is it for clarity? And then, what process are you using? We tend with the Dr. Joe work to always do some breath work beforehand. So we have a quiet period generally at the beginning of the meditation, where you will have the opportunity to go into deep relaxation and just surrender and let go. The breath is then really helpful for raising your energy and getting the juices flowing. And generally, when we have our morning practice with NetNomads, we're doing a seated or a lying down meditation. There's obviously standing and walking meditations as well, but we're generally doing seated and lying down meditations of a morning. And what you're actually getting clarity about is your intention, but then how are you actually going to go ahead and rehearse that intention? So, for example, I've just been staying with some very dear friends, and I knew it was going to be a difficult week because they're all strong characters and they don't always get on that well together. They're a family, a mother and two daughters. And so my practice beforehand was very much about staying calm no matter what's happening, about radiating positive energy and presence across to them and not getting caught up in all of this energy. So part of it was, for protecting my own energy and all of those lovely, happy feelings from within, but also to try and transfer that calm and that energy and that love across to them. So I imagined every morning coming out of my bedroom where I've been meditating, doing a bit of yoga, and then sitting down for breakfast and just imagining how the day would go. So step by step, seeing myself in different situations. What am I going to do if they start arguing over the breakfast table? And what am I going to do with this and whatever? And just seeing that, but then seeing them feeling really relaxed, feeling really happy, picking up on the energy. And that is what I was rehearsing before I actually sat down to do my meditation. And then in the meditation, the play box part was just surrendering the thinking and just having an absolutely exquisite day with them, that all of them being in in best form and not arguing, and yeah, and just getting along really well with each other. So that may make a little bit more clear, you know, how I'm approaching this sort of think box, play box. And, you know, we'll go into this in a bit more detail. And then, you know, afterwards, reviewing, even after the meditation, just having a little bit of thought about, well, what did I do well? What did I not do so well? And what would I like to change the next time? So what I think Joe Dispenza does really well, he talks about, you know, Grahamm, forgive me, I'm going to be a little bit sexist here. I'm going to say, I think this relates more for men, but I think it relates just as well for women. He starts talking about playing golf and, you know, how you're setting yourself up for golf shots. And I think there's a gorgeous book, which I really love, by Timothy Galway, called The Inner Game of Golf. And you've got then the inner game of tennis and different ones. And essentially, it's all about just rehearsing before you play the game, and then letting go of the mind and simply allowing the subconscious to do what it does really well, and you know, get a hole in one or serve an ace or whatever it is that you want to do, because the body knows so much better than the mind how to actually do it. And there's a lovely quote from Timothy Galway, if I can remember it: the opponent within our heads is more formidable than the one on the other side of the net. And honestly, how often have we felt that in meditations in particular? It's all about that voice in the head. So, you know, I think that captures exactly what Galway meant by the inner game. It's all about mastering self-doubt, overthinking, judgment, so that you can play freely and in flow. Yeah, so that's it. Have you got any questions before I go into my practice and what I do?
I have
Heide.
a question.
Oh yeah, go on.
Heide, no, ladies
Oh, cool.
first.
Awesome.
Ladies
Yeah,
first.
okay. I love it. Lots of questions. Fab.
Norma,
Heide.
yes, your example, you repeated it every day, but isn't it you make different meditations? So I always wonder if I go in my mind and prepare it, because my English is not so good. The meditations are different. So
Yeah. Yeah, and you're stuck with, I'm saying that maybe not such a good way. You're not stuck with it. You've got delicious meditations that are different every morning in NetNomads. Is that what you mean?
what you do, the meditation is the meditation. So what I do in my think box is, and the type of meditation.
You can speak
No?
Heide, you can speak German if you want to, because Norma speaks perfect German.
Yeah, and I can translate
Okay.
it.
Yeah. Oh, also ich meine, dass die Meditationen haben ja schon sind anders aufgebaut und haben andere Ziele so an sich schon vom Aufbau her. Und denke ich, da müsste ich eigentlich passend zur Meditation dazu mir in der Thinkbox schon was ausdenken. Also so, dass das mehr zusammenpasst. Oder ist das unabhängig von jeder Meditation, was du dir überlegt hast, Norma, in der
Yeah, so
in der
Heidi's asked a
Thinkbox.
really great question. And you know, it's in with NetNomads every morning we have a different series of meditations. It could be blessing of the energy centers, it could be tuning into new potentials, it could be synchronizing your energy to abundance or whatever. So there is a process that needs to take place about how you're going to tailor your mental rehearsal to the meditation that's actually happening. So, for example, that example that I gave about, you know, staying centered and staying in a place of love and joy for a week, how would I do that? Well, if it were blessing of the energy centers, I'd be going through each of the energy centers, and I'd probably be blessing the energy centers and then radiating the love out to them from each of the energy centers. For example, you know, at the quiet part at the beginning, I might be spending some time just again setting some intentions for the day, looking very quickly at the beginning in terms of having really happy, joyous experiences with them. So I think you'll find elements of each of the meditations where you can create that feeling, having done your mental rehearsal, you can create that feeling during the meditation in some way, shape, or form. The most simple ones to do your own thing are meditations like the generous present moment, which is gorgeous.
Space time.
Yeah, space time, time, space. Those two are particularly open because there's less talking from Dr. Joe than there is in the other ones. The other ones, you will need to check which meditations are coming up, and in your think box, start thinking about how you can adapt the meditations to suit the work that you want to be doing.
If I could also add that the way I use it is when I'm in the meditation, I just let whatever comes through come through, because I've kind of got, you know, like, okay, you know where I'm at. You let me know what I need to know.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, a lot of the times I'm often like in and out of consciousness of, you know, and very often I like come round and the very next sentence is exactly the answer to the question that I've heard this meditation 1,000 times, and I haven't heard that one sentence. Or I haven't heard it, you know. So it's this is very much my practice. So I try not to think too much during the meditation, and just let whatever message I need to hear come to me without.
Yeah. And it is that aspect of trust, isn't it? Trusting that whatever comes up, whatever direction you're guided to go in, or whatever memories or feelings or ideas or whatever it is that come into your mind, that's absolutely the right thing for you at the right time, and just follow that. So thank you. I think that's a really
an excellent
valid comment. Graham, you had a question as well.
Yeah, the question really was, are these time bound? I.e., do you sit down for a set time?
2 hours. 2 hours every morning.
Yeah, 2 hours every morning. If you wanted to, so it starts 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. UK time, but we generally have 2, maybe sometimes 3 or 4 different meditations within that time. And on the platform, we always give the timings so that, you know, if you want to start a bit later or you need to leave early, then you can sort of work out what meditation you want to do. So that works really well. And sometimes it gets to the end of a guided meditation, and I'm thinking, oh, I mean, unless I'm in charge of the meditation, I'm thinking, oh, I don't want to
Which one did
stop.
we
This
do?
feels so amazing. This feels so gorgeous. Or I'm right in the thick of you know, some emotions that are coming up. So I'll just sit and do some whilst the music's playing, or I'll sit and just do a silent meditation for myself at the end. So you've got, you know, this is
There's space to unfold.
This is, you know, think box and play box is very, very personal. And I don't really think there's any right or wrong. It's just showing up and being authentic and being genuine, but being consistent with your practice. Everybody's got to design their own practice, and mine keeps evolving and changing all the time.
Were you specifically referring to the think box time, Grahamm, or to the play box time, or both?
Right. So the terminology they're using is I understand it, and it's relatively new, but I don't think like that. I don't. I'm very much like, so for me, my meditations, and I do a lot, are dependent on what I'm feeling at that particular time. Because I have to deal with chronic pain every day, that's my first priority. And I've got very well self-managed systems in place to manage that, and then meditate as well without it all affecting. I think for me, it's a case of, if I need to meditate, I'm almost told I need to. I don't know where it comes from. I'm just told, right, I think you need to sit down and you meditate.
It's time.
Yeah. And so it's consequent, it's not every single day, but I am meditating every day. I'm meditating when I'm walking, I'm meditating when I'm sitting at my desk working, all the rest of it, primarily keeping my pain at a manageable level. That's how I meditate on that. But when I get messages, and it's particularly when I'm more stressed, it says, right, you need to meditate, you need to go. So I can also predict that I need a half-hour meditation, or I need a 2, 3, 4, 12-hour meditation, which is uncommon as well. And that typically happens at weekends, because I'm busy during the week, and my wife goes out and I've got the house to myself, and great, I'm not going to be disturbed, and it's fantastic when I get into that sort of realms. But I don't go in with any preconceived ideas. I let it come to me. And you're absolutely right, Norma, in terms of the breath work. I always start my meditation. So let me clarify that a little bit more, because I'm sort of feel like I'm hypnotherapy based. The way it works with hypnotherapy is you have an induction, you have a deepener, then you have the therapy, as it were. So the induction for me is the breath work, and it calms. And I know it says it gives you energy and all the rest of it, but there's certain breath techniques that will calm the body, exceptionally calm you, and put you in a really perfectly relaxed state. And it becomes very easy if you do something like conscious connected breathing. And then the deepener, I just let that naturally happen, and that takes me down. But I don't do it to guided stuff. I do it totally silent. Totally silent. And even though I use guided stuff, I do recordings myself that are guided, so I listen to my own recordings. It's just horses for courses for me. It's what I feel, it's what I need at that particular time. Yeah, Victoria's right. I'm not overly familiar with Joe Dispenza, but I've read a little bit and I've seen videos and things like that. I do understand the basic principle, shall we say. But as you say, it's very much individual. Totally, I think. You know, so
It could also be that because you've been doing this for so many years, that maybe even your think box phase is so automated that you don't even realize it is a think box phase. And the play box phase is so, you know, it's such a practice for you that you're doing it without even, you know, realizing that that's what that is that you're doing.
I think I've told you before that I went on this 10-day Vipassana silent retreat, where you meditated for 10 hours non-stop every single day. You don't talk to anybody, you don't acknowledge anybody, you just get your feed and you meditate. That's it. But the meditation's done in a big hall, so you've got 168 people there, all silent, meditating. The energy that is created in that room is phenomenal, and it just allows you to go deeper and deeper and deeper, and that's the time when I learn how to really go very, very deep into my body and feel the blood moving, go into my spinal cord and all the rest of it, and you know, it is a wonderful experience. But as the teachers told us, it's very, very hard to implement that in the outside world, because you've got no distractions. You've got 10 days of no distractions. It's just, you sleep on your own. It's just you. So when you come into the real world and you've got all the distractions, it's a lot harder.
This is the work that Dr. Joe is teaching us, is how to, you know, because we go to the retreats, which is exactly what you're saying, where we just taken out of our environments, so we can completely forget about who we are. We step into this, you know, place of ourselves, and the guided meditations for me have been really helpful, because I've learned the process of change, of what it is to change, and the resistance that we feel in change, and why our bodies are fighting us in our change. And it also opens up the possibility of anything is possible. And when you're witnessing people having miracles of you know, healings. I mean, when I was in London, Norma was there as well. You know, this one guy got up out of his wheelchair. He hadn't walked for like 12 years or something, and he got up out of his wheelchair and he walked. And when you witness that on such a level, and as you say, when you're at an event like this, the level is just like, wow. I left that event and then went the complete opposite, because at that stage I wasn't able to hold that frequency. So I swung back to the opposite thing, and then it took me a while to come back and then find my own balance. So understanding these tools and knowing, like, bit by bit by bit, I've been able to increase my own frequencies. You know, you kind of get to the stage where you're able to hold these higher frequencies, and then you can bring that into your life. This is the purpose of all of this work, and this is why this whole think box and play box is so important. Is it's about expanding our consciousness to be able to hold that state no matter what's happening in our environment. If I understand it correctly, that is the goal about all of this, is to be able to.
I agree with that entirely. I also agree with Norma's point. Is really, it's discipline as well. You've got to set a disciplined commitment to the practice, and that again is not always easy.
It's not always easy.
It's not always easy to do, you know. So I think, but I'm sort of the mindset that something is better than nothing.
Absolutely.
You know, so I've I don't know why, but I've already decided when this is finished, I'm going to go and have an hour's meditation. I hadn't planned that, but
I'm just laughing, Gwen, because I think Joe would be saying, actually, no, being in nothing is actually better than something. It just sort
it's a
of
play on words. Yeah, that's lovely.
no thing, no place, nowhere, no time. Yeah. Anyway, it was
Being
just
in
a
the
play
void.
on
Yeah,
words.
yeah, that's lovely.
But I know what you mean. I mean, I've done several Vipassana retreats, and the first one I did, I came back and I tried to do Dr. Joe Dispenza meditations immediately I got back, and it was just too much noise, like just keep quiet, so it took me a while to get back into it. And I do sometimes do quiet ones, but it's more the guided meditations, which is really interesting. But I think, my whole intention, at least, is very simple. It's just to break the habit of being myself, show up as a better version of myself. And it's all of the learning and the practicing. But for me, the morning meditation is just starting my day in the right way. So my intentions and that think box exercise is really there to remind me about my purpose. And it's that work of actually, after the meditation's over, you've worked with your energy and you've created some great feelings, which is super important. But it's then holding on to that intention, holding on to that purpose for the day, and holding on to those feelings as long as possible, and just savoring them and nurturing them as much as you possibly can.
Another terminology that Dr. Joe uses is the refractory period. And that means that, because life happens, we have our challenges, we have pain, we have, disagreements around us, we whatever the influence is, whether it's coming from our physical presence or from around us, we're going to have these things that are going to knock us off center, because this is why we're here. And then the refractory period is how long does it take us to come back to balance? The goal is to be able to shorten that refractory period as much as possible, so that when things happen, we kind of become our metacognition is so good that we can recognize it straight away. Like, I found myself we were with some dear friends yesterday, and someone that was there said something, and I instantly noticed myself being triggered with the something, and a part of me was wanting to go and put all the blame on that person, and then I like stopped myself at the time, going, no, Vic, I know that this means that there is something in me, there is something really valuable for me to unpack here, there's something valuable for me to unfold. So in my head, I mean, I didn't, from a physical interaction, I don't think it was even obvious to other people that I was having this conversation within myself. But then I was going, I ended up thanking this person to say, thank you so much for bringing this up. So this is something that I can work with. And then today, the whole day, I set the intention in my meditation, or even last night before, as I was coming home, I was saying, okay, this is something that we can unpack. Please help me unpack. In the meditation, I was like, just show me what I need to show, show me what I need to see. And then, like a couple of words came in, and then afterwards I did a little bit of research about, the topics and the judgments and the way I was feeling, and like that made sense, and that made sense, and that made sense. And then I was just sitting there going, okay, and these thoughts were coming up, and I was just sitting with those emotions going, okay, okay. And I was just letting myself feel it, like really, like I was feeling like such a little, I was allowing that nasty, horrible, like really part of me just express itself, because I was validating that those emotions were valid. And it probably, was coursing through my body when like a minute or two. And then I kind of went, oh, okay, like, are you done? Yeah.
That was me last week as well.
Yeah.
Sort of sat there during the day thinking, I can't believe I just had that thought. It's awful. You should be ashamed of yourself, woman, for thinking that, you know, honestly. And then you catch yourself and yeah. But it is good to let yourself feel that just for a smidgen, isn't it?
But no, for me, it's as long as you need to feel it.
Yeah.
And without, you know, without basking in it and moving in, but just to let your body express those emotions and but observing them, you know, observing your body feeling this, which
How
is
do you learn? So what I was going to say is, how do you learn if you don't do that?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Mm, yeah.
You know, we all have those experiences, you know, and quite often you don't know when they're going to arise. It's you know, I always look at it from the perspective of, what's this teaching me?
Exactly.
What am I learning from this? It doesn't always set in. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and then you think, okay, I'm getting the message here, you know.
Yeah. The other question I love that everybody will probably recognize is this thought loving and nurturing to me?
Yeah.
You know, or is this thing that I'm thinking about, like, you know, leaping over the table and punching someone on the nose, you know,
ripping their throat out, like, oh, did I just think that? Yeah.
So are Joe's Dispenza's meditations mainly guided?
Most of them, yeah. Because it's teaching the process of change. It's teaching us the physics of it. It's teaching us the biology of us. It's teaching the, you know, it's taking you through this journey of understanding why it's so difficult to change and how it's basically teaching us to rewire our subconscious, which is the body. So it's embodying the change and letting us experience this and work through this and acknowledge it and transmute it. So it's this whole incredible journey that you learn.
Yeah. And of course, you've then got, you know, beautiful language at times and beautiful music in the background, which kind of makes it really easy and simple to create elevated emotions. It just uplifts and energizes.
It's so interesting because Grahamm, like the journey that you're offering people with your candles is you're offering it as a similar experience to people where you're taking them into their subconscious mind through the hypnotherapy, but you're also using the sense and you're using the sound as well. You know how important the sound is. Because that just, you know, it not only works on a frequency level, but it also works on an emotional level to help us relax and accept the change. And this is exactly what Dr. Joe does with, I mean, the way the meditations have been designed are just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. They've been designed so well.
Yeah.
So your morning meditation group then, how does it, so you say it's 2 hours, how does it work out? So you say it starts at 5?
Yeah, from 5 until 7. We've been doing this for 3 years. 3 years every day.
Well, considering
3 years
I'm
every day.
up at 4 o'clock every morning anyway, so I'm sure I could fit that in. But is that UK time or European time?
UK.
UK time, 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Till 7.
But so on Mondays it's open to everyone. From Tuesday till Sunday, it is just for people who've been to a retreat. They're called advanced students or advanced practitioners. But the Mondays are available, open to everyone.
Okay.
And it's because of the language, it's because of the experience with the meditations that there is that differentiation.
All right. Okay.
So you're welcome to join us on a Monday. if you'd like to.
Interesting. I understand. Yeah. Okay. I have a thought process about that, because I think
Well,
that's
share
big.
it.
Well, I think how do you having it? So what you're saying to me is, because you're restricting it really. So you're saying to people, what, you've got to go on a retreat.
Yeah, because of
join
the
in for the
process
rest.
to get to the retreat.
Well,
In order to attend the retreat, you've done the progressive training session, which is like 40 hours of training.
Right. Okay.
So there is a certain level of knowledge, a certain level of experience in when you get to an event.
Yeah.
And then with the event, it just elevates all of that. Yeah.
Okay. I understand the education behind it, what he's doing, the education and all the rest of it. But we've sat here tonight and said everybody has a unique experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So
but I also
stopping
said,
that person that sorry, Norma, go on, carry on.
I was just going to interject, capture that thought. Yes, but I also mentioned that it's really important to have the foundations. You've got like foundational building blocks that really constitute his method. And then it's about the fine tuning to really make it your own and make it relevant and appropriate for your style and your approach.
So what's the end goal?
To become the person you want to be.
Going to be.
Well, there you go. So surely if the end goal is to be the person that you want to be, yes, you can have a framework and have guidance and all the rest of it, Joe does, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do it a certain way. You have to progress a certain way. But that's the way it's coming. But that's the way it's coming across, though, isn't it? To me, you've got to follow this structure to become the person that you want to be.
No, it is just one method. This isn't the only method. It's just that, as some of the advanced meditations are with the understanding that you know the language, that you know the practice, that it's a different meditation that you can do. So the meditations that we do on the Monday is always it's accessible to everyone. There isn't the assumption that you have gone through these specific processes, that you have this specific understanding, which you do get in the pre-training and you get during the event.
So you're not assuming that they've got the understanding of Joe Dispenza's way.
Yeah.
I think it's less about Joe Dispenza's way, because when I listen to testimonials from this, literally hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands now of testimonials, and everybody's taken his core learning. It's not necessarily about the method, because his method is a combination of science and experience that he's bringing together and saying, well, he's done this all his life. Lots of other people have taken this method, and it's worked for them. But the testimonials really show you quite profoundly the different ways that people have interpreted his sharings and his teaching and his method to their own specific needs.
I mean, there are a lot of people who've never been to an event and they've had the most miraculous healings.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm aware of that, and that's where I'm sort of questioning. I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. And he's clearly doing a fantastic job. He's giving lots of people an opportunity to learn and to discover more about themselves, and so on and so on and so on. I suppose I'm coming from a place, I suppose, and I'm going back to Moodra. The reason I set up Moodra is we know mental health in particular is just rife. And I just wanted to do something that helped as many people as it possibly could, that became accessible, you know. So when I hear and sound or hear and understand that, I understand that things got to be paid for and all the rest of it. You know, these retreats aren't cheap. So you're going to cut out a lot of people who probably need what he's offering a lot, you know. That's the bit.
But that's why we have the Give to Give Foundation, Grahamm. I mean, there's a lot of fundraising.
There's a lot of support,
yeah, and support goes around helping people who don't have the capacity or the means to be able to attend the retreats. But we see testimonial after testimonial where people have read the books, they've understood the model, and they've just done the work at home, and they've seen huge improvements, if not complete healings as well.
Yeah, I'm not discrediting anything that Joe Dispenza is doing.
I mean,
it's absolutely fantastic.
If I can bring it back to like the work that you're doing with Moodra, I mean, if you have your work out there and someone just like, you know, uses it, but they don't use the candle in the way it's designed to be used, you know, they're not giving it the full benefit, you know, it's not using it the way it should be used, or the way you intend it to be used.
Correct, but it's scented in a way, so it's, you know, it's designed, its scent is designed for, so if you take ease away, which is designed for anxiety, calming down, all the rest of it, the scent itself has been blended specifically to give you that sense of relaxation just through the scent. So even if they don't listen to the hypnotherapy or the sound therapy with it,
it's still beneficial.
It's still working. That's the way I wanted it to go, because we've sold candles, and it's, out of all those candles we've sold, I would say, it's interesting because I've got the stats, probably about 30% have not downloaded the recording. Yeah, and we've had several people come back for exactly the same scent. And you know, it's and then what we're finding now is, because we did the aroma sprays with it, is that people buy the candle, do listen to the recording. Once the candle's ended, they still got the scent. They just spray that, and they're immediately taken back to where. So whether we shot ourselves in the foot by a cheaper product, they just and they've got that feeling, which is what I wanted. It's fantastic. You know,
so Grahamm, you're going to love my morning routine here. So I just want to share that with you now. So in the morning, I get up, usually 10-15 minutes before the meditation starts. So I'm usually up and about by about 1:45. And I will get in my think box straight away, and I have a book that I keep just for my meditation musings, and I will just offload. I'll just purge if there's anything on my mind, fretting about or worrying or niggling or whatever. I just quickly jot it all down, and that act of just writing things down settles my mind down quite a lot. And I might then remember, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, or whatever, and I'll just jot down on a post-it note or something the things that I want to remember. And then, Grahamm, I light my Moodra candle.
That's a bonus.
Because I love the smell of it. Okay. And then, you know, that little ritual, I know how gorgeous they are and how effective, but it's kind of, this is sacred time, and I just love having different aromas and different sensations. You know, I use different rugs and whatever. But you know, then when I get into the meditation, it's just delicious. Anyway, what I'm doing first of all is getting specific then in my think box and just letting go of all of these things that I no longer want to be thinking or feeling, or things that I might have realized over the last lifetime, the last day or the last week, that I'm doing that I feel more negative about than positive. So I just tune in to those. And generally what I do is I'll have a theme. You know, I have a bigger theme that I'm working towards, like opening up my heart and feeling more. Because I've been, you know, I've been shut down for so many years. So it's still a process of opening. And then, you know, then there might well be something specific. Like last week I was working on just, yes, it was still to do with opening my heart, but it was just focusing on these gorgeous people and just helping them all to sort of balance out and get on with each other. So, you know, start getting specific. What is it today that I want to be working on in that sort of broader context of feeling more and opening up? And you know, what are the thoughts and feelings and behaviors that I want to release because they're not serving me anymore? And Heidi, dann kommt diese Sache, dass du mich gefragt hast. This is the bit that Heidi was asking me about. So I check the meditation that we're doing that morning. And if I'm doing the alchemist, then I'll be thinking about, well, what do I want to alchemize? If it's tuning into new potentials, then I'm sort of thinking about the feelings I don't want to carry forward, but I'm particularly looking at what potentials I want to be tuning into and creating. If it's synchronizing into a new life, then I'm asking what old beliefs, emotions, or patterns do I need to let go of so I can step into that life. So Heide, that's kind of where I do that tailoring bit. And then I shift into creation. You know, what is it that I want to take into my practice? And what are the feelings and thoughts and states of being that I want to embody during that meditation? You know, what am I going to create? What do I want to do? And that always starts with, for me, and this is something I learned on my Vipassana meditation, actually, is going into my heart and making those feelings of love bigger, and then radiating that out to my family, my friends, my loved ones, the people in the village, the people in the region, the people in the UK, and then it making it bigger and bigger so that it goes out to the whole world, and just getting juiced up. So then you know, I think for me, feeling at the moment is absolutely key, and this is something that Dr. Joe Dispenza stresses as well. It's not just about thinking, it's not just about visualization. You know,
Coherence.
that will take you a few steps further, but it's actually feeling the feelings as if it's already happened, and asking in those for as long as we're allowed to in the morning, you know, feeling abundance, thinking, acting, and feeling your new life, feeling what you've alchemized, you know, from that old emotion into something completely new. And that is so gorgeous. Sometimes without, I'm just looking at time. Are we okay for 5 more minutes? I'm just thinking, well, we did start a bit late, didn't we? So hopefully it's okay. So sometimes I use his simple system of having an intention. So let's say staying in my heart and radiating that energy out. and then helping this family to have a delicious, gorgeous week with each other. And then so what I did last week was a C for calm. So, and I drew a big C and 2 squiggly lines around it. And then on the left-hand side of the page, I wrote down all of the things that I want to be doing. So that's all the think box stuff. And against each one of those on the right-hand side, I write how that's going to make me feel.
Yeah.
The thinking
Nice,
and intention
nice.
on that side. On the other side, how is that going to make me feel? So, with that capital C with 2 squiggly lines around it, I'm doing my think box stuff. I've got my feeling stuff. And then all I'm taking into the meditation, having worked through all of this, is the capital C with the squiggly lines around it, which is a technique that Joe teaches at the events in his writings. And that just means that I can see the C and not have to think or focus on anything else.
Because I have been guilty of, going in with one intention, and then suddenly you have this whole shopping list of other things. Oh no, I haven't thought about that. I haven't thought about that. Yeah, because I haven't done the think box before.
Having said that, Victoria, sometimes I'll do all this work and write it down and whatever, and go in with a clear intention about what I want to focus on, and then just bang, this, as I said, bloody missile comes from the left field, and it just, okay, right,
Where did you come from?
Let's take that. Where did you come from? And then it turns out to be something completely different, and that's okay. I just go with the flow. I think consistency, but with kindness, is really important. Some mornings I get up and I'm feeling grumpy, and I struggle to do my think box and whatever, but most of the time it gets done. But consistency is key. I don't hold on to it rigidly. I think it's all about being in the flow. I think for me, for a while, actually, I just got really perfectionist mindset about this stuff, and it was either blaming myself because I wasn't doing it right, or just getting too finicky and too pernickety about things, and it just kind of lost the magic. So I think, I know this probably all sounds quite complicated, but once you've got that rhythm, it really is very simple and really productive to do. We started talking about this, didn't we, when I was saying that I've got more intentional about what I'm actually focusing on in my meditations, because probably for a good long while it was, oh yes, I'd love to work on that, and then oh yes, the next day it was, oh, I need to work on this, and then the following week was, oh, you really need to work on that, and it all started getting incredibly fragmented, and I felt I was being pulled from one thing to the other. So I think having that overarching piece that I want to work on, really specific, helps me to stay with that, even when these pieces,
missiles come in.
the exocet missiles come in unexpected. And then, of course, evenings, it's about reflecting on, well, how did the day go, and feeling really grateful, full of gratitude for all the things that have gone well. And I do then like to take beautiful feelings and thoughts with me into the evening, and sometimes that's still with me in the morning, and that might then become the focus of my think box stuff. So so the think box,
if I could,
go ahead.
If I could just latch onto your C with a squiggly line. For me, the most important goal of all of this work that we're doing, all of this inner work, is the C for conscious creation. is that is the absolute goal, and this is the skill that we're mastering, is how to create consciously. Is that, you know, we are all creating. We are creating our reality through what we focus our attention on. But to do this consciously, where we become conscious of our subconscious programs that have been running us automatically without us knowing, but to become the conscious creators. And I love how you've described this whole think box, play box. Thank you.
Yeah. And I think, you know, sometimes we don't know how powerful we are. Sometimes we don't believe how powerful we are or trust it. So I think that active conscious creation is just exquisite and delicious. And every morning I am so grateful for the work that we're doing, because it just feels so wonderful to feel happy from the inside out, fulfilled, content, grateful, no matter what's going on around you. And if it slips away from me, which it did last week on numerous occasions, then that's just a delicious reminder of how good it will feel when I get back into my playbox the next time. Yeah. Anyway.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Grahamm, is there anything that you'd like to add before we wrap this up?
We haven't got time.
Come again.
I would just like to
Yeah.
say a huge thank you for inviting me. I will certainly, if it's okay, are you doing it Monday? Because it's bank holiday in UK. Are you doing it Monday?
We do it every Monday.
Right.
Christmas, holidays, whatever.
So I'm taking this week off from certain stuff, so I'll have some time. So I'm always up at sort of 4 o'clock anyway. So I will log on. So where do I find that link?
Well, I share it. You should receive an email on Sundays, and it's also online. But I'll also happily send it to you personally.
I'll be interested. It'd be nice to see. And I will look into the Joe Dispenza a little more in depth, just out of curiosity, really.
But be patient with yourself, Grahamm, because it really is quite a transition going from Vipassana to guided meditation. So give yourself some time. You know, it does take time. I know, you know, all I did for, I think it was 2 or 3 months, was Vipassana meditations, and it took a while for me to get back into the guided stuff. So be patient with yourself.
I'm always patient with myself. I just let it be. That's the thing. I just trust. I just trust in what's meant to be will be, and I'm guided by that.
Yeah.
What I need.
Yeah, sounds great.
The greater universe knows far more than I do.
Yeah, exactly.
And it will tell me what I need. And I have like you, Norma, I have a little ritual as well. But I suppose my think box, if you like, is my consultation room I have home here, where I do go in light one of my own candles 10 minutes before, and then come out, shut the door, and let all the aroma fill up. Then I'm ready. Then I go in and I just say, right, what do I need to know? What have you got for me, basically? And just trust and believe in whatever comes. That's what I will work with.
Yeah.
That's what I find. That's what I find works better for me, because then I can process it during the day, and then in the evenings, I will go in and think, right, okay, how much have I absorbed of that? What have I really learned from that? And then we start again.
Yeah. Heidi, what about you? Have you got any more questions? Is there anything you would like to share?
Maybe I can share my symbol for my abundance.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, maybe you can see because
Oh, I love it.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Oh,
Yes.
that's gorgeous.
Nice. Love it.
Oh, I
Love
love
it.
it.
Love it.
That's
this is the
gorgeous.
week-long
Yes.
retreat in Copenhagen. Maybe I will
Oh,
be there.
lovely. Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, really lovely. So nice to have you with us, both of
Yes.
you, Heidi and
Awesome.
Grahamm,
Yes.
tonight.
Thank
Yeah,
you so much.
yeah.
Really
Thank you
appreciate it.
for your presence, your
Yes.
stories,
And
your
your wonderful
openness.
input.
Yeah, let's keep supporting each other as we
Yeah.
practice all of
Yeah.
this stuff, not just in meditation, but in the way that we live and love all day long.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Norma, for the
Yeah, thank you
preparation
for
and everything
joining
today.
me.
It was
Thank
just
you,
wonderful.
thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
We'll see you again in 2 weeks' time.
Okay.
Lots of love.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao, bye.